I'm a little worried about Carrie and Tim. They don't look at each other the same way anymore.
So great to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time today to talk about the
Lovely to
Baxters.
see you. You look beautiful.
Thank you. I've been so excited to see this series come to screen. I know it's the, beloved books by Karen Kingsbury, and my kids even have the children's versions of the Baxters. So talk to me about what it looked like, kind of bringing this from book to screen.
Yes. Well, I mean, I came to the project as a fan of the book. A friend had given me the first book, Redemption. I couldn't put it down. I mean, it was such a page turner. Her characters are so rich. The plot lines are so intense, and you just want to know what happens. And so I saw it as a visual in my mind. I thought this needs to be a TV series, and she has 27 of these books. So imagine in success, the Baxter's TV series could run forever. But ever since my days on Touched by an Angel, people have been asking me, because I've been mostly producing since then, when are we going to get another show like Touched by an Angel on the air? And so when I read this book, I thought, you know what, this could fill that void in TV programming. I'm going to reach out to Karen Kingsbury, and I'm going to ask her if she would let me have the rights to the book to bring it to TV. And that's what I did. And there was such a God moment in that, because when I reached out to her, she said, "You're not going to believe this, Roma." She said, 15, 20 years ago, when I wrote the first book, my father read it. And he said, "You should reach out to that Roma Downey from Touched by an Angel to bring this book to the screen." 15 years before I reached out to her. So there was such a kind of serendipity. We just felt that was like a sign. And she entrusted me with the book series. And, it takes time to get something together like this. I found writers and, producer. Casting it was great fun. I wanted to find a group of actors that had physical resemblance, because I want you, the audience, to believe that everybody's related to each other. But it was Karen who said to me, "Roma," she said, "why don't you step into playing Elizabeth Baxter yourself?" I said, "Oh, I'd need to pray about that. I don't know that I wanted to be back on screen." But anyway, here I am. And yes, I did. And I had great fun. I stepped into the role of Elizabeth Baxter. She's loving, she's compassionate, she's a prayer warrior. She's feisty when anybody might be, circling that might hurt her children. But I love, there are scenes in here where we see her and her husband, John, played so well by Ted McGinley, just worried about their kids and saying, can we just pray for them right now? And they stop and they pray. And, as remarkable as it seems, because there are so many Christians in our country, we never get to see that on a TV show. And I just think that people of faith everywhere it will be very meaningful to see a family praying, a church-going family where it's not laid on top, it's just inherent to who they are. That's not to say that people who don't share a faith won't enjoy the series. I think there's something for everybody. These are not perfect people living perfect lives. It's just that when life brings them to their knees while they're down there, they pray.
Yeah, I appreciated that about the series because I felt like it was reflective of a Christian family. You've got some that are super solid and others that are shaky. And when
That's
things
right.
happen, you
They
call
have
your parents or you
right. They
decide
have
to
deep
pray.
love
And
for
you
each
can see
other, but they
that.
don't always like each other. And some of them are running towards God, and some of them are running away from God. And you see that in families. Families are praying that other family members will return to the fold, and everybody's living their own lives. So we really see represented here. I think you will relate to the characters. Somebody will see somebody that they recognize. It'll remind them of somebody they love.
Talk to me about the choice. I really appreciated and liked that each episode starts off with like a thematic verse.
Yes.
This was fantastic. Talk to me
Yes.
about that decision.
Well, again, it was just, it felt that we could find a verse that would just tie it back into, it's biblical based, and the themes are biblical based of forgiveness, and this, and we get our strength from the words. So it felt like we just wanted to bless each of those episodes and sort of anchor it for our audience, that's sort of the theme, that we could tie it back in. And anyway, it was bold, but we know that there's an audience for it. We know that she being Karen, has such a big fan base for her books. We know that there are people the length and breadth of the country. I mean, I remember back in about 10 years ago now, when my husband Mark and I wanted to make a series about the Bible. And, at the time, many people said to us, oh, don't be doing that. Sure, nobody wants to watch a show about the Bible on television. And it turned out over 100 million people wanted to watch a show about the Bible. And I think that sometimes in Hollywood, people underestimate that there are so many people who believe the length and breadth of our country, and that we're not some little cult somewhere. We're the people that live next door. We're the people that work in the shop. We're people that watch TV. And, and it's about time we got to see ourselves in TV programming.
Yeah, I love that. And each kind of child has a different personality and a different relationship with each other and with the parents. And this kind of first season, so to speak, focuses on Allie. Will we continue to see more and more of the children's stories unfold?
Well, yeah, the first season deals with Carrie, played beautifully by Allie Cochran. And, we get to see the other kids in and out of, but sort of her storyline is the driving force. And then we'll move into Ashley Baxter's storyline, and then Luke Baxter's. And that's how Karen wrote the books, that each book kind of follows, a main storyline, A storylines we call it, with sort of B and C running alongside of it. So the cast, I can't speak highly about this young cast, and they brought such energy and such enthusiasm. I'm very moved at this moment, because this was a long time coming, from the moment she wrote her first book, but from the moment I read her first book, it takes a long time. It's not easy to get anything going, and not easy to get anything made, and so I'm just so happy that we're at this point, that we're talking about it, that you're going to be able to let people know, families know, that The Baxters is finally on TV, and that it's been well worth the wait.
Excited for audiences to meet The Baxters, and Amazon Prime is the best place for them to be able to see that. So it will be an exciting spring. Thank you so much, Roma.
Thank you. I really appreciate talking to you.